world, it's Ryan from Riding in Style. And today I was actually going to do a comparison between two of my favorite bikes that I've ever owned. But the weather is off and on, and I know it looks beautiful now, of course, but there's been some heavy clouds running through and the roads might be a little wet and slippery, especially with these high-powered bikes, so I'm not going to do that. But I will do a kind of an intro to that future video between the two bikes that, in my opinion, are ahead of the game. So let's check those out. So yes, if you were wondering, it is between the wired Freedom, and I also have the Cruiser. I have it in there. It's sunny, but it's kind of still drizzling, so I didn't want to just bring everything out in case I needed to rush everything back in there. But the second bike is, of course, the Furious Road Warrior, and these are similar in some ways, but very different in other ways. And one of the things that a lot of people are drawn to or are curious about is motors. So the new Wired, this is the 2024 Plus, comes with this 1500 watt motor in the back. And it is a very powerful upgraded motor. They upgraded the gears. And so you have 1500 watts all in the rear hub. Interesting contrast is the Furious here, the Road Warrior, also has 1500 watts. However, it's separated between a front hub and a rear hub. We have 750 there, 750 there. So we actually get 1500 watts. It's just divided into a dual motor, or, you know, between both wheels. So both bikes equal 1500 watts, you know, and a 3000, or even the Wired is said to go up to maybe even 3300 watt peak power. So these are two very capable, very powerful bikes. The Wired does come with the Shimano gearing system, 7-speed, while actually they both come with a Shimano gearing system. It's just that the Road Warrior has 8 speeds instead of 7. Excuse me. They are both dual batteries. So this is the older version. I will caveat that by saying this is the Road Warrior Elite. They've upgraded to the Ultimate. So this has a 20 amp hour battery built into the frame here and a 15 amp hour secondary battery there. This is not the full suspension version, but it did come with this suspension seat post and a suspension cushion seat, which is very comfortable. Love the seat. The rack is welded into the frame here. So as you can see, it's the Road Warrior Elite. And this is also their Furious line. It's not just a fabulous bike, but Furious is their evolved, more performance-oriented line. So the rack, like I said, is welded, and this adds the amount of weight that can be put on the back, you know, if you carry one of those bags. And so the Wired has the 20 amp frame here. It's not fully inserted into the frame, but it's partially inserted. And then, of course, the rear rack, a 15 amp hour battery there. So essentially, they both have the same amount of, I would say, motor power going to the base 1500 watts. And they both have the same dual battery capacity at 35 amp hours between the two batteries. Wired does have the 45 amp controller, which is potted here, and it has that gel inside for better heat disbursement. And the Furious here, the Road Warrior, has a 40 amp controller, which is down here stored, very similar to the new Cruiser, where it's secured into that metal body. Both bikes come with the RST Guide forks, and it's got that suspension, you know, travel. This is a regular, I guess it's clipped on here for the front fork axle, whereas the Wired does have a through axle for a quick release with the front tire. They are both equipped with the 203 millimeter rotors, so that's great for more braking. Given the powerful motors that these come with, you do need that extra braking power. What else? There's the standard looking front and rear fenders. Those are pretty much the same. Metal fenders. What else? I mean, rideability, you know, it really comes down to some of the intricate features, like a handlebar, for example. So this has the classic BMX style handlebar, which is very fixed. I mean, you're able to bring it back or slide it forward or just keep it upright. And the grips are, you know, ergonomic, and they feel pretty good. Whereas the Furious bike here, as you can see, it's got this ProMax system here, where you can raise it straight up. You can also bring it back and forward, but it's got a little bit more of an upright feel. It's kind of the more mountain bike standard handlebar, which I see a lot of people switching out their BMX handlebars for something that's a little bit more like a mountain bike style handlebar. And again, it comes down to preference as well. Very little performance difference there. They both come standard with a bell, which I've upgraded because the other bells seem more like a rubber compound, where this is more of a metal. It has a longer ring to it. Let's see. I guess I always add a handlebar extender because, as you can see, I add some accessories there. So of course my phone mount. This is my rear mounted camera, which I have wired here, and it, you know, just mounts to the back frame there. And of course a cup or bottle holder there. Nothing too crazy there. I have a very similar setup on the wired Freedom. So phone mounts on the it's kind of reversed. Phone mounts here, and I just noticed it's upside down. I'll flip that. Bottle holder here, and same exact rear camera mounting system with the wire running through, and I actually have it coming down the side there just for a little more situational awareness. And I did also have a side view mirror that I decided to put on as well. And very similar to the first wired bike is the full suspension. It's just got a little bit of a thicker linkage system here. I guess it's called that 4-point linkage system there. I love the color. This is a unique color to the newer version, the lime green. Try to find the seat. I didn't like the seat that came with the bike, to be honest with you. It was a little small and not much features. Like, this has a little extra padding, and it does feel a lot better to me. And then just style points for some color matching pedals there. For this one here, I decided to actually put on these are called red shift pedals, and these are pretty neat. Let's see, I could probably turn them on now. You won't notice much of it, but basically it has this, let me bring it up here. So you have your white LED in front, you have your red LED in back, and it's got different features. So you can have it on all the time when you're riding at night, or it has even a blinking feature if you're riding during the day, just for a little extra visibility there. Can't go wrong with that, right? I think it's pretty neat. There's another feature where it's just a different blinking pattern. But I want to show you a feature that is very unique. Is these bulbs can sense where the front is and where the back is. So if you decided to flip it, check this out. The light switch. Now this becomes white, this becomes red, and if you accidentally flip your pedal, it'll automatically switch for you. Also, you can take these out. You can take out the bulbs, and they're magnetic. So if you needed some extra light, I haven't tried this ahead of time. There is a magnet that you could put it on, I guess, your bike in different areas. Of course, I'm not going to try it, but the magnet's in there. But point is, the magnet's too good. But it operates, you know, on its own, as its own light. If you needed to place it somewhere else, you can get it to feature that way. So I don't know. I just like the options that come with a light like this. So you have your standard pedals, but you know, they operate as running lights as well. And honestly, the more lights you have, in my opinion, the safer it is. So that's a quick plug for these red shift pedals there. They're not cheap, but I just decided to try them out, and I put them on this Furious bike here. I think the color, the theme just kind of went with this bike, whereas this one I went more with a traditional color matching theme there. But overall, sometimes people ask me, which one do you prefer? And It kind of depends, to be honest. Personally, I tend to gravitate back to my Furious bike. And there's no main, I guess for me the main reason is I just love the functionality that comes with this bike. Having the dual motor option. Maybe I want to just run a rear motor, but if I need that extra get up and go, I can switch to a front motor and it's there, but it's not always there. You know, it's customizable. They both are. I understand that. But I just like the functionality of having more than one motor. I just feel like this is the new standard of e-bikes. And yes, Wired did recently reveal they had their Predator with the dual motor option, but it was a limited time. I think it was more like a beta test to see if there was a market for these bikes. They weren't cheap, but for those of you that put an order in or have the Wired Predator already, hey, congratulations, you know, because you're kind of getting what I like most about this bike. You're just getting it on a Wired bike. I do love the build, the feel of the Furious bike, to be honest. I haven't ridden a Predator, so I can't say much about the weight transfer, but I can say that, and you know, a lot of people complain about the wobble. I've experienced it, but I'm not getting on a soapbox and talking about this death wobble. It hasn't been a death wobble, but there's just a noticeable wobble. And I do have the Hellbender headset. I haven't put it in yet. That did come installed, pre-installed on the Wired Cruiser. But you know, for a bike like this, if you ride with the rear battery, sure, you're gonna get more of an exaggerated loose feel in the front, which could equal like a wobble because that's a heavy battery. I've been riding with it off. Now, if I was gonna do a top speed test or a true comparison, I would be doing it in a future video with both of these bikes with both batteries on to get an accurate reading. It wouldn't be fair to take off the second battery and leave this one on, you know, but I like the way that the weight here is centered. Like both batteries are right here in the middle. So it creates a good offset in the middle. And then what I mean by offset is like the front motor and the rear motor both offset the front and rear weight transfer, weight distribution. So it just feels like a more grounded bike the way it's put together. Maybe the front motor on the Predator on this one was a good thing. I would just think that if there was a way to bring the second battery in the center, excuse me, even without a front motor, it would create a more controlled feel. Yes, it would add that center weight, but with the rider weight here, you're not dealing with so much of a heavy rear with the 1500 watt motor as well as this 15 amp hour battery all to the rear. There's nothing offsetting the front here. So I feel like bringing this battery at least closer to the middle would help alleviate some of that death wobble. That's just my opinion.